What's up, guys? Houston here. I'm going to show you where to get up to $15,000 in an emergency, even if you're unemployed or self-employed, and you don't have to have a job for this. Now, one of the things that you have me that I want to tell you guys is that before you start applying for these type of loans, you need to check with these credit bureaus. Okay, so this is Clarity, and as you can see, it's owned by Experian. The reason why is because these here credit bureaus are holding old data on you, your old names. If you remarry, if you had a CPN, a credit privacy number, if you move to an address, all these here third-party credit bureaus are keeping you from getting qualified for funding. So you need to correct these credit bureaus, all right? And it's very easy to go on their website and correct them, but this is actually what's keeping you from being qualified for funding, because the information you put on your application is not matching what they have. So these here third party lenders that I'm talking about, they're not going to use the major credit bureaus. They're going to do soft pull from these type of lenders. All right. So that's the reason I'm sharing with you. So you have Clarity. Then you have Teletrack. And right now, Teletrack and DataX, they're both owned by Equifax. Okay. And so as you can see here, they're being both owned by Equifax. When you go to put in for any type of loan or anything like that, they're the ones that's going to get that information back to Equifax because Equifax owns them. Then you have Factor Trust. Now, Factor Trust is owned by TransUnion. Okay. And again, this is a financial bureau. So when you wonder how come it's so hard for me to get a loan, well, guess what? These are the lenders that's stopping you from getting a loan. And there's an actual credit bureau that's actually worse than these that I'm going to talk about in a different video. So all you have to do is type credit bureau, and I'll send it when I create that video. I'll send it actually over to you. Now, here's the thing about it. When you're looking for a loan and you have bad credit, you may be self-employed, you may be on disability benefits, okay? You may not have a regular 9 to 5 job. These are the lenders that you want to go to. Now, Credit Fresh is a tribal lender, okay? And so by being a tribal lender, they have different criterias. They're looking for if you have an active checking account. As a matter of fact, right here, you can see what your eligibility is, okay? An active checking account, your identity, driver's license, ID. They're going to need a bank statement and proof of residency, all right? Now, you have to have those. One of the biggest things that keep people, other than those credit bureaus, is not having active deposits. So even if you're on government benefits, they will work with you, but you have to have that. All right. So the thing about it is, what do I need to be eligible for the line of credit with Credit Fresh? Again, same thing. 18 U.S. citizens have an active or personal checking account, have consistent income. So you don't have to have a job. It's not telling you you have to have a job. So don't worry about that. You just have to have consistent income. All right. So this is the first one. I just wanted to show you proof. Checking your eligibility will not impact your credit score. Okay. And so when they say they report to TransUnion, remember I told you Factor Trust? So this tells me, since they're going to be reporting to TransUnion, they're going to check with Factor Trust to see if you actually qualify. All right. And here's the places that they actually offer their lines of credit to. Okay. So you don't have to look everywhere. So I hope that I'm answering the question. If I'm doing a good job, comment. All right. But these are the places where they're going to be offering their lines of credit to up to 15,000. Here's another lender. This lender is called Together Loans. Okay. It's called Together Loans. So you can see it here. Together Loans. Now, with Together Loans, I'm going to break this down. They go up to $10,000. But again, like I said, you do not need a job. As a matter of fact, here it tells you how much can you borrow. It actually will tell you here. You can borrow up to $10,000, from $3,000 to $10,000. However, here's their catch to this. So you understand that yes, you can borrow up to $10,000. You can have bad credit, and I just wanna. Can I get a loan even if I have bad credit? A bad credit score is a part of the history, but they don't not judge you on your bad credit. So you don't have to have, you can have bad credit. You don't have to have perfect credit in order to get this here loan. Now there's something else that's very important about this here institution. You have to understand. You have to have a cosigner. And it says, how long does it take? Can I get it without a cosigner? So a cosigner is responsible for you. So you do need a cosigner in order to get this loan. All right. So that's the thing about it. But they'll give up to $10,000 if you got a good cosigner. Now, here's the thing about it. I want you all to understand. Remember, if you follow me, I made a video and I told you there's two type of credit files. There's a subprime high risk credit profile that's built off of credit builders. So if you have somebody with a whole lot of credit builders on their file and stuff like that, guess what? And they still in the 700s, they can get approved for this loan. They still can be a cosigner on this loan. So they don't have to have like the major bank credit cards and credit unions and stuff like that. They can have those subprime loans long as to have a strong credit score. All right. So you don't have to have those major banks in order to qualify for this. Now, there's something else that I want to show you as well. Can I live in the same address as my cosigner? Guess what? You don't even have to live at the same address as your cosigner. So if you got somebody that's willing to cosign, they can be in another state, right? They can be in another state and they will allow them to cosign for you. Here's all of the states that they actually operate in. These are all the states that you actually operate. So your cosigner can be in any of these here states in order to help you qualify for a loan. You do not need to be employed. You see that? So that's one of the things that I'm pointing out to more people. You don't have to be employed. If you got a cosigner that's willing to cosign for you and you can still show that you have income and stuff like that, they will still give you a loan up to $10,000. And the basics of it, the criteria is again, 18, comfortable with making the payments. All right. And then, like I said, having a cosigner. I know this is a lot for a lot of people because you don't may not have nobody that believes in you to co-sign for you. But hey, if you do, here's an option. This place, they actually give you up to $8,000. This is Pathward line of credit. So they'll give you up to $8,000 line of credit. All right. Now, in terms of when they give you this line of credit, again, how much does the Pathward line cost? It talks about the APR. So yeah, the interest rates is high. A lot of people are not happy with that. What are the minimum eligibility? Be a legal age, have an open, active personal checking account. Now, this is something else I wanted to tell you all. Look, if you're in check systems, if you're in early warning systems, all you have to do is go to a community bank or credit union bank. Even Chase and Bank of America, they have these secondary checking accounts. So instead of you using like Chime or something like that, you can go there and get a secondary checking account to do all your transactions and stuff. So they will allow you that as well. Here's what I was saying about the credit limits are available, and it goes from 1,000 up to $8,000. Do I need to be employed in order to qualify for this here? No. Has a C here. You do not need to be employed. However, you will need to be showing constant source of income. So you can be on government benefits. You can be on unemployment benefits. you can still qualify for this here $8,000. All right. Submitting an application will not in fact impact your credit. So you can do a soft pull on this as well. So if you just want to see if you pre-qualify for it, there you go. You can actually do a soft pull for it. This is another thing a lot of people ask. Well, I have to verify my bank account? You do. You do have to verify your bank account. So you can't just put anything there. So that's one of the things you also have to take into consideration when going for this. Now, this is Lend Nation. Okay. So Lend Nation is a direct lender. Okay. And with Lend Nation, again, can I get a loan if I'm unemployed? They will allow you to get a loan if you're unemployed. Okay, if you're on government benefits. This is what I keep telling you guys. It's not necessary to always have a job. All right. So what's the thing about it with Lend Nation? They offer payday loans, installment loans, and lines of credit. Their lines of credit go up to $10,000. I always tell people if you find a lender that's offering a line of credit, always go for that line of credit. Okay. This is something that a lot of people miss out on it because with the line of credit, once you approve for it, it's like a revolving credit card. You just pay it down and use it. Okay. Without having to reapply. All right. Now, they do check credit, but more likely the credit report that they're going to pull from, again, they may use a third party credit bureau to see if you even qualify. And what they're looking for with these third party credit bureaus, they're trying to find out if you ever had a loan with us and you defaulted on it, or if you're currently in a bankruptcy. Now, these are the states that they actually operate in. So if you're trying to figure out if they operate in your state, these are all the states that they operate in. The states and cities that they operate in. Okay, so now you'll be aware of that. Now, Giggle Finance, they go from 15,000 up to 20,000 on repeat customers. All right. Now, the interesting thing about them, this is where you actually can get a loan even if you're self-employed and they just looking at the operation of the business. Okay. So this is one of those easy loans. Now, in terms of, let's look at the FAQs. And this is their requirements. At least $2,500 a month in revenue, at least 3 months in business. Credit score is not a factor. That's what I'm telling you guys. When you are thinking, oh, I can't get any money, no. Long as you have active checking account with deposits in it, that's what they're looking for. And here's another thing that's interesting. See this here? These is the criteria in terms of what type of business owners and stuff like that. So you can have like high risk type of business. Remember, I've been telling you guys about MLMs and stuff like that. You can actually have a MLM and still get this. Like I said, 15 to 20,000 dollars. Okay. Now they have a Giggle Advance. So with the Giggle Advance, those are usually going to be a little lower, all right? But they offer this here to mostly business and stuff like that. So you don't have to have credit. You do not have to have credit. Now, another thing I wanted to, again, that's the FAQs and who qualifies. This is where it's interesting. This is where it shows who qualifies. This is much better. So she, let's see, ride share, food delivery, mobile. So you can get money. That's not the problem. If you have active deposits and stuff like that, now the interest rates may be high on a lot of these here lenders, but at the same time, if you have active deposits and stuff, you can get money. And as you can see, who can't get a loan from them? W-2 workers. So they don't work with W-2 workers. This is all about the entrepreneur. All right. The credit requirements is not a factor. So I hope this video helps you. If you have any questions about business credit funding, personal credit funding, removing negative items off the credit, click the link in the description. Schedule a one-on-one consultation. Thank you.